Hello. In this video, we are going to do a deep dive on ADK, Agent Development Kit. This video is strictly for coders. So if you know how to code and you are very deep into it, this is the video for you. Now, let's get started. So number one is uh, we are going to look at this multi-agentic system. I would highly recommend you to pause the video and take a look what we are going to create. We are going to use a greeter, which is the interaction to the ADK, and we are going to create a sequential agent, which is creating a film concept. We will have a loop agent, which is going to loop between a researcher, a critic, a screenwriter, and a Wikipedia. You're going to create all of this in this video. And then you have a parallel agent, which is going to do a box office research as well as casting agent for character casting. And then you have the file writer, which is an aggregator of the output. So again, this is what you are going to create, build today in this video. This video is going to be a little longer, so stay patient, and you can watch this video at 1.25x. All right. So ADK provides 3 built-in workflow agents and the opportunity to define your own agents as well. As I mentioned, you will have a sequential agent, loop agent, and parallel agent. We are going to build a multi-agentic system using Gemini and multiple tools, as you would see in this document. The concept is we will build an agent that will develop a pitch document for a new hit movie, a biographical film based on the life of a historical character. These subagents will handle the research and iterative writing loop, as well as a critic, which has a screenwriter, critic, and at the end of the day, it's our multi-agentic system will look like. So this is what our target is. Let's now understand the basics. So you can build an agentic system from scratch using lower level APIs like LLM calls, function calling, using storage device as well. Now, the first level of abstraction is the low level LLM framework like LangChain. You get some basic abstraction for common language processing tasks like parser, splitters, prompt templates, and etc. Next level up is the orchestration framework like LangGraph. It is considered as a low-level framework, but there's a greater abstraction around the working concepts of LLM. Instead, you are focused on creating an orchestration logic. So in the low-level LLM framework, you are focused on LLM and managing that. But in LangGraph, it is a good example where you can build graph and design your agentic flow. The next level of abstraction framework, oops. The next level of abstraction framework is your ADK, which is Agentic Development Kit. It is also incidentally where multiple other LLM companies like Google, OpenAI, and others are in the race of doing LLMs and running their agents. OpenAI and other companies have also embraced these ADK frameworks in order to build agents faster. And finally, you have no code platforms, which we are going to discuss in some time. So these are the level of abstraction we are going to play in the level 3 zone in this video. Next, you have to understand the basic of agents. You have LLM based agent, you have workflow agents, which we are going to create today, and you have your custom logic agents as well. Our focus in this video will be creating a workflow agents. Please understand that in the last few set of videos in the series, we have created a lot of LLM based agents already. So an agent that is self-contained in the workflow to define a predefined logic or a deterministic pattern, like sequential, parallel, and loop agent. We're going to discuss all of these three now. Now, what is a sequential agent? A sequential agent means the a workflow agent that executes the sub-agents in the order they are specified in the list, like a sequence. There is no LLM in the workflow agent. It should really be an orchestrator agent. No LLM, rule-based orchestration. It has one level of execution. Now, the parallel agent is wherein you are running these agents in parallel. So you have these sub-agents which are running in parallel. Again, it is already predetermined number of agents, and as the sequential agent, the parallel agent does not use LLMs to execute the sub-agents. I hope you understand. The sub-agents may use LLMs, but the sequence itself does not have or is not driven by LLM, right? It is all predetermined flow. Now, a loop agent. A loop agent is an agent that can run a sequence of agents in a loop with a specified number of iterations. That means you define how many iterations. In this example, max iteration equal to 2, or some termination condition is met. You are looking for something, an exit condition is met. So 3 agents: sequential, parallel, and loop agents to create a workflow. Make sense? Now, so we have the final category as the custom agent. We are not going to talk much on that, but a custom agent defines its own logic. It has complex workflows, and it combines sequential and workflow agents together. Basically, our use case is driven around a custom logic, which has a good combination of these 3 agentic flows you would see in some time. So let's look at it. A custom agent is basically you start your flow and then you have a decision point. Based on that decision point, you do some sub-agentic call or a tool call, or you perform a custom action. And once you're done, you are finished in your process. So again, it's complicated. Custom agent is you define how you want to run your agents. So a multi-agentic system typically consists of root agent and child agent. You form basically a hierarchy. It's a hierarchical structure wherein you have a root agent, which is an orchestrator agent. We have discussed this root agent in the ADK concept earlier as well. And then these child agent, these sub-agents may have one or multiple tools. In this example, we will see that as well. So how do you define a root agent? This is a recap of what we have been doing in ADK. You define root underscore agent equal to agent, that is ADK agent, the model, the name, and the instruction. Now, in Agent Development Kit, you organize your agent in a tree-like structure as discussed. This helps limit the options for transfers for each agent in the tree, making it easier to control and predict the possible routes. In this case, you have a root agent, which can have only sub-agent or sub-1 and 2 as direct reportees. Think of a hierarchy. And then you have a sub-agent with another sub-agent, and then you have tools around here. Now, it really drives inspiration from real-world collaborative teams, making it easier to design and reason the behavior of the multi-agentic system. It's intuitive for developers as well in order to keep a control over the flow of information and task delegation, making it easier to understand possible pathways and debug the system. All right, so let's move on. This is what we are going to be building today. As I mentioned, we will build an agent that will have a pitch document that will create for a hit movie, a biographical film based on the life of historical character. This is our focus for the labs, for the demo that we are going to build. Now, how do we break it down? I'm going to refer to this slide back and forth when we are doing the uh, demo. You will have, we will first create a sequential agent. We're going to break it down, the multi-agentic system, first creating a sequential agent of researchers, screenwriter, and file writer. This is a tool. So a root agent named greeter will welcome the user and request for a historical character as the movie subject. Then the sequential agent called as film concept team, a researcher to learn more about the historical figure from the Wikipedia using different tools like Wikipedia, Google search, and things like that. But in this example, only the Wikipedia tool. A screenwriter to turn a research into a draft plot outline, and the file writer that is going to aggregate what's being covered here. Next, we are going to add a loop agent. Again, we are going to do it step by step. In the loop agent, what will happen is the sub agent would define in a sequence which it's going to repeat until you have achieved your criteria. In this example, the critic is added that would define whether to iterate or exit the loop based on the condition. So the critic will offer critical feedback on the current draft to motivate the next round of research and improvement through lifecycle. So this is going to be an addition for a loop agent. And finally, we are going to have a parallel production agent in which we are going to add the pre-production team, which is a separate concept wherein we'll have a box office research agent to use historical box office data to generate a report on potential box office performance, and the casting agent to generate some initial ideas on the casting. So let's build this system today. Now, there are a couple of conceptual ideas that I want to share with you. We're going to work with session, state, and memory. I'm going to talk about session and then we'll quickly jump on working on this. So a session means you can create or store some information like, for example, customer information or current date in memories, and then use this session across all the agents. You define a session, for example, at a root agent level, and then you can use this session across any of the agents or sub agents in the system. Imagine session as a state of the entire flow for that instance of run. The session object has an identification, an ID, an app name, and the user ID you would see when we run the demo. And then you have history, sequence of all interactions, and then session data. That means you place this session data in the memory for now, but you can place it into multiple areas. So session object we are going to be using in detail, and then you have activity tracking as well. So this is what constitutes of a session object: identification, history, session data, and activity tracking. Now let's go build the demo as we are thinking. Okay, as this is going to be a little complicated for all of us, so let's follow step-by-step instructions, details of which is mentioned in the video description section below. First step is we are going to use this Cloud Shell editor. You click on this and it's going to activate an editor for you. Click on continue and click on authorize when it pops up. Okay, perfect. So we are going to run through the code that we already have. The code details are mentioned in the video description section below. It is in the Git repository. Now, what we are going to do is this is our Cloud Shell, and we are going to use this as our workspace. So I'm going to run this Cloud Shell workspace, or you can also open in editor as well. So it is running and opening it as an editor. You could have clicked on the the button there, and it opens up an IDE. For the next remainder of this session, we are going to use this as our IDE, right? This is going to be your development environment for the remainder of the demo. Next is we are going to download the code. You could download the code from the GitHub repository. I'm going to show you another method of downloading the code from a GCS bucket. But as I said, you can download the code from the Git repository. So you're going to paste like this, G-Cloud storage copy, and you are going to do a Git clone here instead if you are using Git repository outside of Quick Labs. So I am going to copy this, and you see here an ADK multi-agentic system details are here available. So these are your workflow agents, and these are your parent and sub agent. This is the code which we are going to walk you through in this video. Now, in order to run this successfully, please note the project ID of your project in wherever you are. This is my project ID, for instance. And nope, this is not the project ID. This is the project ID, QuickLabs GCP 03. Yep, this is my project ID, and I'm gonna copy it. And then I am going to run a few export paths now. So I'm gonna make this available as well. I'm gonna do an export. So that it runs all the requirements. Again, I'm gonna mention this in on the Git repository. You are going to export, and you're gonna run the requirements.txt. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, and we are going to wait till it's done. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's running all the requirements.txt, which is mentioned on this here. You can see the requirements.txt. We're going to use Wikipedia and the LangChain community. Wonderful. This is done. Let's use clear. Okay. Next on the list is we are going to create a .env file. This env file is going to be available as an example for you in the system. So let's do this. In this terminal, we are going to first do an ls, and then we are going to create a .env file. So we are going to first do a cd on this ADK. Make sure you do a change directory. And now I am in ADK multi-agent system. And then I'm going to create a .env file. So you could do a vi, or you could do a cat. Anything works. So I'm going to run this command, the cat command, which is going to create an env file for me. So you can see that env file here. Right. So we got to copy the env folder file in the parents and subagents and the workflow directory. So use this command. Once you have used this command, you are going to see the env file appearing here. If you don't see the env file under parents and subagents, what you need to do is you go to view and toggle hidden files. Make sure that you toggle hidden file. An env file would be available. You would see the parameter Vertex AI true, your project, which would be your Quick Labs or any other project that you're using, Google Cloud Location, US Central 1, and we are using Gemini 2.5 Flash. Now, on the left-hand side, we are going to open the parents agent subdirectory and agent.py. I can hide the hidden files by clicking toggle hidden file so that I just have a cleaner view of my stuff. Now, what we want to do is look at this attractions planner agent. This is an agent that provides attraction to the city. Again, this is a little bit different use case, just to make sure that you understand how multi-agentic system works before we go to our filmmaking agent. So at the moment, you're looking at actions planner agent at the moment, and then you have travel brainstormer agent, which defines various popular locations for areas that you are wanting to visit. And then you have another agent with the root agent that calls. So this is how you define a parent-child relationship. If you have not seen before, please notice the sub-agents which are listed here. So we're going to add the sub-agents parameter uh, below this line. So what are my sub-agents again? The sub-agents are defined as travel brainstormer, as well as attraction planner agent. Again, these are defined here. So this is how you create a multi-agentic ADK, just for your information only. And then all we are going to do is run this now. So I'm going to save this file. Make sure you save this file, come out, and then I'm going to run this like here. So I'm going to CD to this ADK, which I'm already there, and I'm going to run the parents sub-agent. So it is going to run, and you can see that it is asking you for a user. So this is how you're running the agent here. Just type hello, and you would see that, are you looking to plan a trip or do you need some inspiration? And then I'm going to say, I could help, I could use some help in deciding. Again, this is only for your understanding at the moment. And then once it does that, it gives you multiple options. Please notice that the name travel brainstormer is triggered, and then you have the root steering agent. So you have, initially it was steering, that was the root agent, and then look at that name. The name of the root agent is steering, and then this was the travel brainstormer agent. And then I can interact with this agent. You can also provide your agent to be more detailed instructions if you like, and then I can save the file, right? So this is how you interact through multiple agents here. Now, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you various ways to look at different agentic architectures. Let's look at it. I ran this agent again, and I'm going to say hello, and I'm going to say I would like to go to Paris or Japan, and it is going to help me plan the session. So if you look at it now, it's going to trigger a travel planner agent that is going to help me. So you got how you are interacting with different agents, step-by-step details. So again, it is having trouble. I would say I would like to go to Japan, and let's see what happens. And you see how these agents are getting triggered. Now What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you state variables and session variables. I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to talk to you about the state and okay, now let's play with sessions, right? Uh, Go to this parent and sub agents in the agent folder under tools, add the tool instruction here. So I'm going to add this piece of code which is available in the GitHub repository, which talks to you about save attractions to state. So for instance, as soon as you add attractions, it is going to add to the list of attractions and you can interact with it. So this is a session. You see here, we are getting a tool context. I'm saving it as a dictionary. You have existing attraction and I'm adding this attraction to the state. And you would see that this attraction is available in my session state variable. And then um, I'm going to add this tool to the attractions planner. So I'm going to go here and add this tools. And in the GitHub code, this is already added. So don't worry about it. I saved it and I added the tools under the attraction planner, save attractions to state. And then I am going to add this instructions here. There you go. So I'm going to add this instruction saying that when they reply, use your tool to save their selected, and if they ask to view the list, so I'm going to add more instructions to it. So I made 3 changes. I added the session state. I also added the save, and then I added this instruction. And please note that you want to save it, and then let's use the web UI as we have been using. So in order to use the web UI, you are going to do an ADK web, and it opens up an ADK web for you as we have seen in our previous set of videos. And this is available on this drive, sorry, this link. Add a new tab, and once you run it, not yet. So I'm going to try to open this link one more time. Yep, it is now up and running. It might take a little bit of time for you to run. And then in this agent, I'm going to select parent and this agent. I'm going to type, I would like to go to Egypt, for instance. And this agent is going to run. And I'm going to say, I want to go to Phoenix. There you go. The save attractions state appear, and you can see on the left hand side the invocations. You have to explore here, and then in the state you would see the attractions added where the Phoenix, and then I can say what's on my list, and it is going to show me what's on my list. You can see that this Phoenix is added as an instruction. All right. So this was a basic set of agent, very simple, wherein you were able to run an agent, plan your trip, and then add the session state variable. Now let's go back to our main topic of the video, right? We want to use the workflow agents. In this section, we are going to build the sequential agent. If you remember, please go to the previous set of videos. So I'm going to quickly jump, and I am going to cancel this session. I'm going to make it clear. And then I'm going to run this, and you would see okay, so this is up. Let's look at the agents under workflow agents. Please note that we are under workflow agents now. You would see here that we have append to state, which is the function for writing it on a state, write to file. You have file writer agent. So please go through this agent. You have screenwriter agent to our original example. And then you have a research agent that uses this. Go through this code step by step to ensure that you know what we are talking about. We are at the end of the day creating a film concept agent, which is a sequential agent. And then you have defined researcher, screenwriter, and file writer. And the root agent is your greeter agent. And these are your tools and sub agents. So again, I repeat, the film concept agent uses these three sub agents. I'm going to quickly switch to show you what I meant. Please recall from our discussion earlier that we were looking to create this agent. Yep. So we are going to first create researcher, screenwriter, and then you have a file writer, sequential agent, and we have a tool, Wikipedia for researcher, and we also have save to session, append to state tool as well. Now, let's take a look. Going back here, let's run the demo. Okay, so let's run the demo here. I come back here, refresh my screen, and on the left-hand side, I have workflow agents, and I'm gonna say hello to initiate a conversation. You can see that it is going to ask me, I can pitch for a hit movie. This is our movie agent. I can add Ada Lovelace. She is an English mathematician and writer known for her work. And then look at that. It does append to state, transfer to agent, Wikipedia, and look at that. It creates a script and it appends to state again. So you can see that this agent calls it subs agent and executes. It creates a plot. Isn't it amazing? It creates a multi-agentic 3-act plot outline, the burden of genius, the visionary struggle, her life from Wikipedia, and a legacy unavailed. And you can click on this state icon and you would see that how this agent was created. You can also click on events. In the events view, you can see how events were triggered one after the other in order to, so this is, look at here, I'm gonna expand this. So under the event section on the left hand side, ADK provides you an opportunity to go step by step, look at how these events were clicked one after the other, and how these agents were responding. So these are step-by-step instructions on how this worked. Now let's add the loop agent. Remember, the next step was to add the loop agent. So it kind of loops through and make sure that we add a critic agent. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a tool. So let's go back, and in the terminal window, I am going to crash this, right? I'm going to close this, make it clear, and then I'm gonna go to the agents.py, and I'm going to add under the tools section, I'm going to add from loop first of all. So from google.adk.tools import exit loop, because we want to create a loop agent, and then we are going to create the critic. So I'm going to create a critic agent under the agents. So let me paste the critic agent here just before the researcher agent, or just after the researcher agent, doesn't matter. And then please note that this critic agent has an exit loop as the tools. So again, it uses append to state, and it also has an exit loop. This is its instructions. Please go through the instructions one time, and then I'm going to create a loop agent. So I am going to put the loop agent after the film concept agent, but then, sorry, before the film concept agent. And this is my writer's loop agent, writer's room loop agent. And then I'm going to add, please note that you have max iterations of 5 in the loop agent. Next, we are going to add the writer's room, which is your loop agent that uses researcher, screenwriter, and the critic in a loop. Remember? So we are going to change this sequential agent to writer's room and file writer, which is going to be separate. The reason is the writer's room already has researcher and screenwriter. So we are going to remove this and add the writer's room over here. Okay, so this becomes writer's room has critic, researcher, and screenwriter, while writer room becomes a sub-agent of the film concept theme with a file writer agent, right? And that's it. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to run this ADK web, and there you go. Once this is up and running, we are going to wonderful. So now I'm going to go back to this reset perfect workflow agents, and I am going to do this. An industrial designer who made products for the masses. And look at that. It is going to loop through the agents here. Look at that. It does go back. I just asked it to create an industrial designer who made products for the masses, and it is going to do a research for me uh, in this, and you will have. So by the time it found Raymond Loewy, an industrial designer, and then it's going to create a plot. So by the time it does that, I'm going to quickly show you what we are building and where we are here. So we, as you know, we are trying to build this. We had this writer's room. Initially, what we created was this researcher, screenwriter, and file writer, which were direct sub-agents to the film concept team. In the iteration that we did, we added a writer's room with a sub-agent researcher, screenwriter, and a critic, and we added the writer room loop agent to the sequential agent of the film concept. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to run a parallel agent right here so that it becomes a little complicated. I hope you are able to follow the instructions here. So next on the list is we are going to add a parallel agent to the design once it's done generating. So going back to what it's generating, let's see here. There you go. So it ran an exit loop. There is a plot, and the movie title is Shaping America, and it has saved Shaping America.txt into the movie pitches directory. If I go back in here, you have movie pitches and you have Shaping America directory with a plot outline. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that it is able to generate a film outline based on your prompts? Okay, so let's add parallel agents. So what we are going to do is we are going to add two agents, the box office researcher and the casting agent and the pre-production team agent. Very simple. I'm going to add three agents and I'm going to kill this in the terminals first. I don't want this anymore. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to clear so that I have a clean slate to begin with. I'm going to close this Shaping America. And now I'm going to create the parallel agent. So under agents, I'm going to add, doesn't matter where you add it, it's all how you arrange it. So I created a sub agent box office researcher, and you can copy the code in completeness from the GitHub link. And then you have a casting agent. And these two agents are part of the parallel agent, parallel production, pre-production team. And the pre-production team itself can be added as part of the sequential agent. So I'm going to add the pre-production agent as part of the sequential agent right here between the writer's room and the file writer. There you go. Arranging it, make sure you save it, save your work. Important to save your work again. And then I am going to update the file writer instructions as well to include the box office. So box office summary as well. So I'm going to go back to file writer agent, which is this researcher. Yeah, file writer agent. And I'm going to update the instructions to this. I'm going to there you go. So I'm going to update the instruction to include the box office report and the casting report as part of the instructions. And then I'm going to save the file. And then I'm going to do again an ADK web. And off you go. I think we should be able to now do the agent here. We'll go back in here, just refresh it, select the workflow agent, and I'm going to do another one, the actress who invented technology. And then look at this. This is going to run a couple of agents in parallel. It is running, and you can see that. So what we did, just to summarize, in the meanwhile this is generating, what we did was we added this parallel agent to ensure that we get we added this parallel agent right here, box office, and this becomes your complete agentic flow. a multi-level agentic flow that helps you generate a film plot outline. And let's go back to our agent generation. Look at that. It exits. And now it also has the box office report and everything finally in the final report output. Box office report as well as the casting characters. And then this was also saved in the movie script, movie pitches right here. There you go. This is end-to-end understanding of how to run multi-agentic workflows and how to build it. Whoops, I'm sorry. I am going to repeat it one more time. It now generates, it does the exit loop here. It selects Hedy Lamarr, the protagonist, and then it is going to Heidi Lamarr, protagonist, and then George Anthiel. It generates the box office report as well as the casting, and it wrote to a file. And if I go back in here, you would see the Hollywood Secrets weapon, the plot, and the box office projections and the conclusion. So here is a way how you can generate a multi-agentic workflow and understand step by step on how to make changes. Just to reconfirm or conclude what you learned. You learned a multi-agentic framework application, how to build it uh, from start to end. You gave a historical character. It was able to do the research. You had a critic, which went into a loop. And then once you are done, it generates the box office and the casting report as well and writes it to a file. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for watching.